reborn, and returned. How will she choose to reverse the course of her destiny? Inside the palace, the king looks in shock at the two powerful nobles before him. You both want to marry Heinil? Your Majesty, I have long admired Princess Heinil. I implore your Majesty to grant me permission to ask for the princess's hand. Prince Lutz's tone is lazy, yet brooks no argument. Wasn't it said that I could just choose a suitable one among the 5 princesses? The one most suitable to my heart is her. The entire hall is in an uproar. The nobles whisper among themselves. Both the count and the prince have their eyes on Princess Heinil. Cheltel has long admired the princess. He's a famously romantic count, but the terms of defeat, besides reparations, require offering a princess as a symbol of peace. Who will His Majesty betroth the princess to? Heinil knows the answer all too well. After all, this is something she experienced in her past life. In her past life, a cold night with howling wind and snow. The carriage jolted. Inside, Heinil, about to give birth, was pale-faced, enduring the discomfort. The maid was both anxious and furious. This is too much to make a pregnant woman, so close to labor, travel in this weather. People already gossip about your birth, and he just casts you aside and openly meets with that mistress in his mansion. Heinil's fingertips gently caressed her swollen belly. She smiled gently. Don't be angry. I have my own child. I'm still very happy. As long as I have this child. Before she could finish, the carriage door was yanked open. A guard urged them to get out, using the excuse of repairing the carriage. The moment they stepped down, the maid was held back. Heinil was roughly seized. Let go of me. She struggled in terror. Have you forgotten? I'm carrying your master's child. I haven't forgotten. A cold voice came from the darkness. Heinil froze, looking at the figure by the cliff's edge. Cheltel, what are you doing here? The man strode forward, gripping her arms tightly. His tone was twisted. I didn't want this either, but Isabel insists on being the official wife. I have no choice. Heinil was forced to the edge of the cliff by him. What are you doing? I'm still carrying your child in my belly. The man sneered. She watched in horror as the man pushed her into the abyss. Heinil woke up with tears streaming down her face. Her hands instinctively went to her abdomen. My child. Where's my child? Your Highness, did you have a nightmare? The maid's concerned voice came. It must be because the palace is in such chaos. After the defeat, the people from Trikas are coming to collect the reparations. What do you mean? Is Prince Bryant in Shul again? The maid was confused. Again? Isn't this his first time here? His Majesty has already promised to betroth the princess to him as a symbol of peace. He's here on this trip to take his bride. Isn't that something from 2 years ago? Heinil froze instantly. Have I returned to the past? By the city walls, the nobles whispered as they watched Lutz Bryant enter the city. They say he's a bloodthirsty madman, extremely valiant on the battlefield. He's the one who caused our defeat. We have to offer a princess. I heard His Majesty is letting him choose a favorite among the 5 princesses to take away. Although she'll be a prince's consort, he's not the crown prince. He has no real power in Trikas. His situation is delicate. Heinil listened to the rumors. 2 years ago, everyone thought so. So they pitted the princess who would become his wife. However, I know the crown prince of the Trikas Empire will soon die of illness. And in the struggle for the right of succession, that man, Lutz Bryant, will be victorious. He will become the emperor of the Trikas Empire. And the princess of Shul, taken away as a peace tribute, will become the empress of the empire. And I will die at the hands of my husband, Cheltel Phil, who repeatedly professed his love for me, yet found a new lover as soon as I became pregnant. Although I lost his love, I at least wanted to protect my child. Dea, since there are guests in the palace, I should go greet them too. Go, and bring out all the clothes and accessories. The maid was puzzled. You're about to marry Lord Count Cheltel. Why bother going? Besides, Shul has 5 princesses. Will His Majesty really send you to Trikas? Heinil's expression was calm. Count Cheltel owns mines and is as wealthy as a nation. For the sake of the huge tax revenue, my father the king will surely betroth the woman he wants to him. With the count's status, wanting to marry a half-princess whose birth mother was a maid isn't considered arrogant. So my father the king will make me his wife. After all, that's how it was in my past life. In this life, she no longer believes in love. It doesn't matter if her husband doesn't love her. Her only goal is to let the child who couldn't be born in her past life become the future future crown prince of the empire, so that no one can ever harm her. Heinle's eyes were resolute. She would rely on her own strength to change her and her child's fate. Reborn and returned. How will she break the deadlock? What kind of waves will her choice create? A woman actually kneels in the dead of night, begging an enemy prince to marry her and have his child. What secret is hidden within this shocking and unconventional proposal? Heinle's mother was once a palace maid, favored by the king for her beauty. She became a consort after becoming pregnant with her. However, among the 5 consorts, she always lived in fear. Therefore, my mother was full of gratitude towards Cheltal. He didn't mind her humble origins and cherished me especially. In my past life, I thought so too. When he proposed to me, my heart was filled with joy and gratitude. But now, I already know that man's true face in the future. So, in this life, I must use every means possible to marry Lutz. Rumor has it he's a battlefield Azura obsessed only with slaughter. How can a half-princess like me get close to him? In my past life, on the day after my mother's birthday banquet, something unforgettable happened. A servant stole an item that Lutz cherished dearly and was brutally executed on the spot as a result. Heinle seized this key piece of information to change her destiny. That night, she successfully intercepted that servant. The servant flatly denied it, but when Heinle accurately described the appearance of the item, the horror on his face betrayed him. Under Heinle's combination of persuasion and pressure, she finally forced the servant to hand over the item. Back in her chambers, Heinle looked down at the object in her hand. Up close, it was even more brilliant than she remembered. This must be priceless. It's rumored to be a keepsake from his late mother. Lutz treasures it very much, carrying it with him at all times. With this, perhaps I'll have a chance to see him, to talk to him. If I can attract his attention and make him propose to me. A cool breeze blew past. The cold edge of a sword was already at her neck. I was planning to find the thief and kill him on the spot. As a princess, I'm very curious why you would protect him. That's why I didn't act just now. Heinle trembled violently. How'd you get in? Suddenly, Lutz's gaze swept over the item in her hand. His eyes instantly became crazed. He rushed towards Heinle as if possessed. Heinle was frightened by his inhuman gaze. She retreated in terror. The two of them fell to the ground with a crash. A strange purplish-red glow emanated from Lutz's body. He snatched the item back. Lutz, luckily I found it in time. Any later, and it would have been dangerous. Heinle watched warily as Lutz picked up his sword. Her heart sank. Am I going to be executed by this man in this life, under the accusation of theft? She explained hurriedly. Your Highness, please let me explain. I didn't mean to steal it, nor did I intend to hide it. I was just planning to formally visit you tomorrow and return it then. Lutz, then why did you protect the thief and come to me yourself? Is that man your lover? Heinle, no, that's not it. Since you care so much about your country, why didn't you stop your father's foolish actions back then? Heinle, I understand. She should not have coveted the Trika's empire's territory. We should also atone for the needless casualties and losses. My father, the king, has already promised to offer one of the 5 princesses to you as a symbol of peace. Lutz scrutinized her. That's right. He probably couldn't bear to offer his legitimate daughter, Sarah. So he offered a canal city and a concubine's daughter. I heard Shul has 5 princesses. It seems you are one of them. Yes. Heinle looked up and met Lutz's gaze directly. May I ask if you have a woman you favor? Lutz was taken aback. No, I haven't given it much thought. That makes sense. In her past life, he had impatiently pointed at someone at random. Rumor has it that he has no interest in women. Apart from fulfilling his duty to produce an heir, he was like a stranger to his wife. But her child became the crown prince. And my child. Heinle's tone was firm. Your Highness, please choose me. I was originally planning to formally visit you tomorrow and then make this request. If you choose me, I will fulfill all of your requests. Lutz was stunned at first, then broke into a laugh. After finally winning the war, my father wants me to marry the daughter of a concubine from the defeated nation. This was originally very annoying, but now it seems rather interesting. Just then, the candlelight suddenly brightened. Heinle raised a hand to shield her eyes in discomfort. Lutz held the candlestick and got a clear look at the person before him. He chuckled softly. It seems this time, the post-war reparations are quite out of the ordinary. To think a scantily clad woman would kneel before me and propose. Only then did Heinle realize her improper attire. Her face instantly flushed red with shame. Lutz's tone was tinged with contemptuous amusement. What are you covering? Didn't you say you wanted to be my wife? Then you should show me your worth. Convince me, shouldn't you? This late-night proposal, born of calculation, will it truly go as she wishes? She gambled her dignity to propose to the most dangerous man. Did she marry me, the most dangerous man, to ask for love? She gambled on proposing to the most dangerous man, just to escape a fatal marriage. She didn't hesitate to take a shocking action in the middle of the night. She knelt and begged the enemy prince, Lutz, to marry her. Her tone was firm. Your Highness, please choose me. Lutz looked at the scantily clad woman before him. His tone held a playful contempt. Then you should show me your worth. Convince me. Heinle's brows furrowed. No matter what, I must change my destiny here. To survive, and for the child I will one day be reunited with. Since I need to show my worth, I am of course more than willing. As soon as Heinle finished speaking, her subsequent action caught Lutz completely off guard, stunning him. Can this convince you? The two fell into a silent standoff. Lutz came to his senses and chuckled. You're really good at piquing people's curiosity. Heinle closed her eyes tightly and waited. Suddenly, a robe was draped over her. Otherwise, I'll get bored. Also, tell me the reason. Why are you going to such lengths? The reason I've spared your life is precisely because I'm curious about this. Heinle confessed. A man is going to propose to me. My father, the king, will probably betroth me to him. Lutz raised an eyebrow. Then can't you just refuse his proposal? Lutz, it seems you quite detest that man. You might escape the tiger's den only to fall into the dragon's pit. My infamous reputation must have already spread to Sheol, I presume, that I'm violent like a beast by nature. That once I lose control, I'm like a demon unleashed from its cage. A bloodthirsty Azura who prefers the pleasure of blood and fire over soft, fragrant jade. Heinle's body trembled slightly, but her tone was firm as nails. I don't care, but please promise me one thing. Lutz's gaze turned cold. Heinle looked him straight in the eye. Let me be the mother of your heir. Moreover, as a wife, it is my duty to bear an heir. It doesn't matter if you don't love me, but I ask you to protect the child I will bear. Ensure he becomes your heir. As long as you can promise this, I ask for nothing else. Lutz stared at her. A knock from a maid outside the door broke the silence. He extinguished the candle flame with his bare hand. He whispered in Heinle's ear, come to the West Palace tomorrow at noon. I will give you my answer then. After speaking, he actually leaped down from the balcony. Heinle exclaimed, this is the second floor? Lutz landed steadily and glanced back once. He left with flair. The next afternoon, on the way to the West Palace, the maid exclaimed in admiration, Your Highness, you look beautiful today. Is there something important? Could it be that Count Phil is coming? Heinle smiled gently. No, it's not. But inwardly, she was uneasy. Will he accept? I can't see through his thoughts. Last night, he seemed completely uninterested in me. Was it because my clothes were too plain? Will today be better? Suddenly, a voice full of malice rang out. I heard the Imperial Prince is handsome. The maids are all trying their best to get close to him, so I came specially to sort things out. I didn't expect the one leading them to be a princess of the kingdom. The Queen of Sheol appeared with the other consorts. Heinle hurriedly curtsied. The consorts laughed mockingly. It's one thing for the fifth consort to be short-sighted, but the daughter she raised is also so shameless. One moment she's clinging to Count Phil, the next she's after the Prince of Tricas. Didn't her mother rely on these very tricks to rise in status back then? The daughter naturally learned well. Like mother, like daughter, indeed. My mother was forcibly taken by the drunken king and spent her life mired in stigma and shame. That's why she so hoped that I could marry someone who truly loved me. If she knew I would ultimately die at Count Phil's hands, with such a miserable end, she would probably. Pardon the interruption. Lutz's adjutant appeared at the right moment. He walked straight to Heinle and bowed. Princess Heinle, His Highness the Prince is waiting in the West Palace. Please follow me. He ignored the ashen-faced queen behind them. Heinle followed the adjutant and left. She saw Lutz. Heinle bowed respectfully. I was impolite yesterday. My name is. Let's cut her off directly. The name is not important. Regarding your proposal yesterday, I have conditions. If you accept them all, I will take you as my wife. The prince actually relented. But what astonishing conditions will he set? Can Heinle bear them? The first thing the woman does after returning from rebirth is to kneel in the dead of night and beg an enemy prince to marry her and have his child. And Prince Lutz has actually relented. Let me ask you a question. Your fiancé, Phil. Heinle was confused. Fiancé? Lutz, that's common knowledge, isn't it? That count is well known for his admiration of you. Why can't you accept him? If you're after the status of a prince's consort, then you've miscalculated. After all, objectively speaking, the life you'd have as a countess by marrying him would probably be much more stable than a marriage with me. Heinil, what I need is not a stable and comfortable married life. Lutz, why? Heinil, forgive me, but I cannot tell you. Even if I did, you wouldn't understand. Because even if I told you that I, who met a tragic end in my past life, died precisely because of him, you wouldn't believe it. What I want is to serve you as your wife. If you are willing to accept me, I will fulfill all the duties a loyal wife should. Lutz, after becoming my wife, you will only get the empty title of a prince's consort. You will get nothing else. Although I will, out of duty, conceive an heir with you. Beyond that, I have no intention of interacting with you much, nor will I maintain an unnecessary marital life. Other than the child, you can make no demands of me. Even with an heir, that child will not be able to hold any real power for the time being. These are my conditions. Can you accept them? Heinil nodded joyfully. Yes, I gladly accept. In her eyes, these conditions were nothing at all. Besides, what she wanted most was to have her own child. Lutz, on the other hand, didn't expect her to agree so readily. He scratched his head in some embarrassment. All right, then I will propose to you tomorrow. You can go back for now. Heinil thanked him sincerely. Thank you. I will do my utmost to serve you. A moment later, the maid Dea saw Heinil coming out of the West Palace and excitedly came forward to ask, "Have you settled things with His Highness the Prince? Everyone is very curious. I heard it was Prince Bryant who personally invited you." Heinil, His Highness, and I have settled things. Dea swooned over the prince's good looks, but then worried that Heinil's fiancé, Count Phil, would get jealous. Heinil looked helplessly at the loyal but unknowing Dea, worried inside. She would never dream that I would become the consort of the Prince of Trikas. This path is destined to be difficult. I don't want to bring her to that distant, foreign country too. Heinil suddenly grabbed Dea's hand. Dea was puzzled. Your Highness, what's wrong? Heinil, I'm just nervous about getting married. Dea, Your Highness, don't worry. I'm here. Tomorrow, I will dress you up to be more radiant than anyone else. I'll make sure Count Phil is deeply captivated by your grace when he proposes, leaving him stunned and unable to forget. Heinil gave a helpless, soft laugh. The next day, Heinil looked at the unfamiliar jewelry in confusion. I've never seen this jewelry set before. Where did you find it? Dea said proudly. It's beautiful, isn't it? I borrowed it from Her Highness the Fifth Consort. Her Highness the Fifth Consort said this was a gift from His Majesty the King. It will also match your hair color very well. Heinil was both surprised and delighted. Mother actually lent me the treasured gift father gave her. She must be hoping that I could be the most radiant one today. Entering the banquet hall, Heinil was a little hesitant about her attire. But isn't this neckline a bit low? Well, look who it is. A mocking voice came through. Heinil looked up at the sound. The newcomer was none other than the king's legitimate daughter, Sarah. So it's Heinil. Long time no see. I almost didn't recognize you. Sarah was walking with several other princesses. The sarcasm in her words was undisguised. What? Feeling extra confident at the thought of becoming a countess? Your outfit today is certainly different from usual. Could it be you were worried Count Phil would see your plain appearance, have a change of heart, and not propose to you? After a round of verbal attacks, the small group left, gossiping. Heinil watched their departing backs, feeling utterly drained. Suddenly, Count Cheltel approached silently. I almost didn't recognize you. You are exceptionally beautiful today, simply breathtaking. His gaze followed Heinil's figure with ill intent. Heinil felt uncomfortable and raised her hand to avoid him. I had no intention of attracting his attention. Count Phil, long time no see. Cheltel suddenly saw the scar on her hand. He grabbed her wrist abruptly, his face darkening. What happened with this injury? Heinil was terrified. This was the scar left from when I was keeping Prince Lutz's pouch safe. But why is his reaction so strong? How scary. It's nothing. I just accidentally got scratched by a branch. Cheltel, it seems I should seriously hold your servants accountable. To let the master they serve get scarred. Heinil, scarred? The way he spoke, it was as if I were already his property. Cheltel, for such a mark to be left on the princess's jade-like skin is truly a pity. As he spoke, he was about to lower his head to kiss the back of her hand. Heinil felt a surge of disgust and anger. She quickly pulled her hand back. Their commotion attracted the attention of those around them. Cheltel looked slightly awkward. Did I offend you? A clear voice interrupted. Heinil, so you're here. His Highness Prince Lutz walked kindly toward Heinil. I've been looking for you. The bloodthirsty god of war actually showed gentleness for one person. This court banquet, like an Azura's battlefield. Who is the real winner? Heinil was disgusted by her past life husband's touch. She shook off his hand, causing a commotion. A clear voice broke the stalemate. Heinil, so you're here. He gently took her injured hand. Did I cause this? I'm sorry. Then, a cherished kiss fell upon it. Heinil's face instantly flushed red. Their tender moment was abruptly interrupted by Cheltul, who yanked Heinil back. Lutz, what do you think you're doing? Cheltul, it seems northern etiquette is quite different from Shoal's. In Shoal, casually kissing an unfamiliar woman's hand is an extremely rude act. Lutz, is that so? This is the first I've heard of it. However, for people of Shoal who value etiquette so much, not only did you invade another country's territory without a declaration, but a mere count dares to interfere with a conversation between an imperial prince and a princess of this nation. Am I to understand that Shoal has no intention of a marriage alliance with Trikas? Cheltul was rendered immobile by Lutz. He was at a loss for words. Just then, the king of Shoal arrived. He saw the two men at daggers drawn. Prince Byant, Count Phil, why are you? Lutz ignored him and spoke directly. I heard that a princess of Shoal is to be offered to me at today's banquet. Then I'll choose now. Cheltul interrupted urgently. Your Majesty, I mentioned that matter to you before. You promised to give me an answer today. I wish to take Her Highness Princess Heinil as my wife. Heinil's heart tightened. His Majesty had actually already tacitly approved him. Lutz chuckled softly. Oh dear, what a shame. But what to do? I'm afraid I'll have to steal another's beloved. The king was shocked. You both want to marry Heinil? She is the woman I have loved for a long time. I implore your majesty to grant me permission to ask for the princess's hand. Let's look up coolly. Wasn't it said that I could just choose one among the 5 princesses who suits my fancy? The one who suits my fancy the most is her. The king was caught in a dilemma. On one side was the prince of the victorious nation whom he couldn't afford to offend. On the other was a promise to the count that was hard to break. Prince Byant, you have not yet met all the princesses. To choose Heinil already, isn't it too hasty? Why not meet the others before making a decision? The nobles whispered among themselves. Why Princess Heinil of all people? Doesn't he know she's just a lowly half-princess? Lutz interrupted the discussion. By the way, before I make my decision, this Count Phil must apologize to me. The king was puzzled. Apologize? Did Count Phil offend you? Lutz, it seems the might I displayed on the battlefield wasn't enough. I could have completely wiped out the Shoal Palace and invited all 5 princesses, including the legitimate daughter, back to Trikas. However, my father did not allow it, so I restrained myself from doing so. But it seems you people don't take me, the prince of the victorious nation, seriously at all. I hadn't even finished speaking, and this count from the defeated nation dared to interrupt publicly. The king was alarmed. It would be disastrous if the marriage alliance fell through. Count Phil, this is a marriage alliance banquet. You are far too rude. Apologize to His Highness the Prince immediately. Cheltul was filled with resentment and unwillingness, but could only lower his head. Your Highness, I was rude. Please quell your anger and enjoy the banquet. Let's turn to Heinil. The only way I can enjoy this banquet is to marry the princess I have chosen. As for the rude behavior of a mere count, perhaps I can let it slide. As soon as these words were spoken, the entire hall was in an uproar. Cheltul's face was ashen. Suddenly, Heinil's mother cried out, I beg you don't. Lutz interrupted. I'm not taking her away to torture her. Yesterday, she helped me find an important item. She is no different from my benefactor. After bringing her back to Trikas, I will definitely cherish and treat her well. After all, she is the only one in this country who has caught my eye. Heinil's cheeks flushed slightly. His explanation was gentler than she had imagined. Compared to being taken away directly, this explanation should be more acceptable to Mother. The king's voice rang out. Heinil Polak, you are to serve His Highness loyally. Remember, you're going to Trikas for the sake of peaceful relations between our 2 countries. Yes, Your Majesty. Heinil was overjoyed. I succeeded. Cheltul's expression was extremely ugly. Let's just found that face an eyesore. The princess was briefly this count's fiancée. I have stolen his woman, for which I feel very sorry. Why don't we take this opportunity to also arrange a partner for him? Heinil was surprised. He wanted Cheltul to choose a wife on the spot. The king thought it was feasible and told Cheltal to choose a princess he favored. Cheltal roared, "You know full well there's only one person I want." Lutz said indisputably, "Choose." Under immense pressure, Cheltal was forced to choose. He pointed randomly, and to Heinle's shock, his finger landed on someone unexpected. The woman, trying to escape the scumbag husband from her past life, was decisively remarrying Prince Lutz after her rebirth. His Highness the Prince found the very sight of the ex-husband, Cheltal, to be an eyesore. A light-hearted apology, and he was told to choose a princess he fancied. Cheltal's expression turned extremely ugly. Knowing full well who he desired, he was still deliberately made to choose. But under Lutz's powerful pressure, he pointed randomly and ended up choosing the wife of the reckless one from the past life, Mai. Heinle never expected that in this life, she would become the wife of the reckless one, while Mai would become Cheltal's wife. Had their fates truly been completely swapped just like that? Let's notice Heinle's unease. After gently putting an arm around her and leading her out of the banquet, "I believe I've given you your wish." Why the long face? Heinle quickly explained, "No, not at all. I was just so thrilled at the thought of not having to marry him. That's all. Thank you so much." Lutz sighed lightly, turned, and lay down. "That's good, then." Seeing him lie down, Heinle asked, "Are you going to rest?" Lutz complained it was too hot, making him sleepy. She was puzzled. Is it still hot in this weather? Then again, Trikas was a place where it was winter all year round. Perhaps this is my last summer. Just then, a pregnant couple walked by. Heinle thought of her impending reunion with the child she lost in her past life, feeling both excited and filled with longing. Tears streamed down her face unconsciously. Lutz happened to see her, a confused look on his face. "Didn't you say you were fine? What are you crying about?" Heinle quickly wiped her tears. "I was probably thinking of my mother." "Lutz, you mean the consort who turned pale when I proposed to you earlier?" Heinle, "Yes. My mother was a palace maid. She became a consort after giving birth to me, but she never received His Majesty's favor. Thinking that I won't be in the palace, she might suffer even more." Lutz had a realization. "Because she came from a maid's background, they call you a half-princess." Heinle said bitterly, "Yes." Lutz frowned. "That's really not good." Heinle's heart sank. Could he be having second thoughts because I'm a half-princess? Suddenly, Lutz said something astonishing. The great king of a nation, forcing himself on someone after getting drunk. He's simply a son of a BTCH. Someone else did the wrong thing, yet the innocent one has to bear the infamy. This country, really, from its weather to its culture, there's nothing I like about it. We'll leave immediately after the wedding. Spend more time with your mother before we go. I don't want to come back here again after we return to Trikas. It's even hotter out here. Let's go back." Heinle dazedly agreed, still staring blankly at the man before her. Lutz waved his hand. "What are you spacing out for? Doesn't she have any etiquette for escorting people?" Heinle gently placed her hand on his. "And no, that's not it. Thank you." The outwardly cold, but inwardly warm Lutz reminded her in a low voice, "Don't cry in front of others. Otherwise, it will look like I'm forcibly taking away someone who is unwilling. If that happens, there's no point in me pretending to be deeply infatuated with you." Heinle was confused. "Pretending?" Lutz chuckled. "Did you think all those things I said at the banquet about having to have you were real? To make the king betroth you, who is widely known to have a fiancée, to me, I had to pretend it was love at first sight. Insisting that it had to be you was the only way to make it look natural. Besides, this way it's easier for you and your mother to accept, right? It's better than having your mother think you were forcibly taken away and crying over it." Heinle was surprised. "Were you being considerate of my mother's feelings?" The ultimate tough talker Lutz immediately denied it. "I just don't like hearing women cry." Heinle happily thanked him. Lutz looked at her smile, his face quietly turning red. "I didn't do it to take care of you. I, after all, came here as part of a diplomatic marriage delegation, so I wanted to resolve the issue without resorting to force. This was the only way. Stop talking nonsense. Go on in." Heinle nodded silently. Returning to the banquet hall, she saw Princess Mai standing alone. Mai's mother was from a humble background, and she too was a quiet and gentle girl. Heinle went up to greet her. They exchanged blessings. Mai suddenly blushed. "I'm so sorry. I never thought I would be marrying Lord Count Phil." "Inael, no need to apologize. The Count chose you." Mai became even more flustered. "But you and Lord Count Phil." "Heinle, those were just rumors. I'm very happy to become the wife of His Highness Prince Bryant. But you, on the other hand, suddenly having to get married. You must be very surprised." Mai covered her face, shy yet joyful. I was very surprised, but I'm also very happy. Actually, I wanted to marry the Count for a long time. I never thought my childhood dream would come true. Mai had a secret crush on Cheltel. For this swap couple, is it love or a new tragedy? What's worse, the ex-husband doesn't seem to have given up. Can Heinil's new life be peaceful? The prince from the enemy nation has successfully snatched the bride, but the woman's husband from her past life hasn't given up. Just as Heinil was pondering about the deeper meaning of swapping fates with Mai and worrying if Mai would repeat her own past mistakes, Cheltel suddenly appeared, startling her. Heinil forced herself to remain calm. Count, I wish you a happy marriage. Please take care of Princess Mai. Cheltel gave a smile that didn't reach his eyes. I don't want to hear your congratulations right now. You can say that to me after I take you back. Heinil was terrified. Take me back. This was decided in front of his majesty. Cheltel's tone was chilling. Did you think I would give up just like that? Wait for me. Heinil, I will definitely take you away. You are mine. Heinil slapped away his outstretched hand. Count Phil, you're drunk. I'll pretend I didn't hear what you just said. She turned and walked away quickly, her heart still pounding. He won't follow me, will he? Why are you sweating so much? Lutz's voice suddenly rang out, scaring Heinil out of her wits. But she reacted extremely quickly, grabbing Lutz's sleeve. Her voice held an imperceptible tremble. Your Highness, I was just looking for you. I wanted to continue our earlier conversation. Lutz looked at her panicked expression, then glanced towards Cheltel. His eyes turned cold. The way that guy looks at another man's fiancée is really an eyesore. He suddenly chuckled, a hint of danger in his aura. Looks like I'll have to put on a good show. Princess, give me your hand. The two of them walked straight to the king. Lutz announced loudly, my beautiful bride seems a little bored, so I'd like to have a dance with her. The king gladly agreed. Of course, a diplomatic marriage banquet can't be without dancing. Go ahead, but let's change the subject. It's no fun if it's just the two of us. If both soon-to-be wed couples dance together, it would be much livelier, wouldn't it? The king was delighted. That would be wonderful. This banquet will surely become a symbol of the harmonious relationship between our two nations. Beautiful music began to play, and the two perfect couples stepped onto the dance floor. Heinil looked at Lutz's focused gaze, which even held a hint of deep affection, and her heart raced. She knew he was acting, but that look, it still made her blush. The nobles whispered among themselves. I never expected Prince Bryant to be such an elegant dancer, and he's so handsome. Heinil felt a little relieved, so he wanted to publicly declare his ownership. I really hope Cheltel gives up after this. She turned her head. Why does it seem to have had the opposite effect? Cheltel's gaze was even more terrifying. If this continues, it will only make my situation more awkward. Lutz's voice sounded. I know why you loathe that man. He is indeed disgusting. Even I'm getting a headache from him. Heinil was taken aback. I'm so sorry. Please bear with it for a little longer. A perfect professional fake smile was on Lutz's face. You bear with it. As soon as he spoke, he swiftly lifted Heinil into his arms. Heinil's face instantly turned red. She let out a flustered, low cry. Your Highness, put me down. Lutz obligingly put her down, but in a way that her slender feet landed steadily on top of his own. The distance between them instantly became intimate. Heinil was so shocked she forgot to breathe. Lutz's deep voice was bewitching. I want to be closer to you, to get a better look. Heinil's cheeks immediately flushed crimson like a sunset. This bold and romantic scene instantly set the nobles abuzz. Men from the north are truly bold and passionate. Look at his eyes. The two of them clearly looked like lovers in the heat of passion. Only Cheltel was trembling with rage, his eyes looking like they would split open. Lutz keenly caught his gaze and curled his lips in a provocative smile. The next second, he raised a hand and gently cupped Heinil's blushing cheek. Under everyone's watchful eyes, he lowered his head and kissed her. Will this make you give up, or will it drive you completely mad? After her rebirth, the woman remarried the prince of an enemy nation as she wished, but on her wedding day, trouble suddenly erupted. Could this sudden turn of events be a conspiracy by her past life husband, who is unwilling to lose her? And this enemy prince beside her, what unknown secrets are hidden behind his glamorous and noble facade? At the diplomatic marriage banquet, the prince made a domineering declaration. Lutz looked at Cheltel, a provocative smile on his lips. He raised a hand and gently cupped Heinil's blushing face. He lowered his head and kissed her. Heinil's pupils constricted. This must be an act for Cheltel to see. But why is my heart beating so fast? This kiss directly set the whole venue ablaze. The nobles and princesses all blushed and gossiped. The battle-hardened demon, who was never moved by women, was actually so proactive when pursuing someone. And at this moment, only Cheltal was trembling with rage, gritting his teeth. A few days later, Lutz and Heinil's wedding was held at the temple. Under the witness of the fire god, Nuska, the high priest took out willow bark, symbolizing life force, and wrapped it around their wrists. This will intertwine your fates, lead you down a path of inexhaustible blessings, and open the gates of fertility. Heinil whispered, "The gates of fertility. This time, I will absolutely protect him. I will absolutely not lose him. Absolutely not." She secretly clenched her trembling hands. Lutz noticed and asked in a low voice, "What's wrong? You're shaking." "Shinael, I am sorry. I might just be too nervous." The ceremony continued. But just as the high priest was about to light the willow bark with fire, he suddenly sensed something strange. A dark aura was faintly emanating from Lutz. He immediately ordered someone to bring the tears of the god Nuska. The king asked nervously, "What's going on? Is there a problem with the ceremony?" The scene was instantly in an uproar. How could the prince have an evil aura? How is that possible? The high priest solemnly declared, "If His Highness truly has a dark power within him, this marriage cannot be established." Lutz sneered. "This is the first time I've been so ridiculously accused." His eyes suddenly turned grim. Just then, Heinil noticed Lutz quietly take out the silver plate from the pouch he always carried. He pressed his finger on the silver plate until blood flowed. Then he spoke icily. "This marriage was originally a tribute offered by the defeated nation of Shul to Trikas. Now you want to interrupt the ceremony. Are you trying to evade your war responsibilities?" But the high priest insisted on using the holy water to verify the truth. "The tears of the god, Nuska, will clearly reveal the truth." The king looked at the high priest in terror. The high priest splashed the holy water directly at Lutz. "I have followed the will of the god, Nuska, my entire life. Since I received the ability of a divine oracle, I have never made a mistaken judgment. Come on, when holy water meets a sinister aura, it will produce smoke." The high priest was in disbelief. There was no reaction from Lutz's body at all. "Lutz, well, it seems this is your first mistake." He looked coldly at the high priest. "Although a religious mistake is none of my business, on a diplomatic level, you must pay the price for slandering me." The high priest still wanted to argue, but was loudly silenced by the king. At the same time, Lutz spoke up. "Are you going to continue insulting me? I hope this ceremony can be completed quickly." The king urged. High priest quickly apologized to the prince and continued the ceremony. After the wedding, back at the West Palace, the adjutant asked as soon as he entered, "What happened at the wedding?" "I heard the king offered 500,000 swin in gold as an apology." But Lutz immediately said they had to leave today. The adjutant was shocked. "But tonight is your wedding night." Lutz irritably tore off his clothes, his expression grim. That damn man, as expected of someone who has served the gods for a long time. His sensitivity to impure auras is quite sharp. It seems he has already noticed that my condition is not right. So, what secret is Lutz hiding? Reborn and remarried to a prince, but on their wedding night, he abandoned her and fled early? Just after the wedding ended, Lutz urgently ordered an immediate departure. That high priest had already sensed his abnormal condition. The adjutant shot up from his seat in shock. He asked nervously, "The pouch? You've been wearing it, right?" "Of course. I pierced my hand with the magic crystal at that time, letting it absorb that aura. That's how I avoided being exposed. So we must leave tonight." The adjutant asked hesitantly, "Shouldn't you see His Majesty the King before leaving? Do you think I'm a suitable condition to see him? Just make up some excuse. And what about Her Highness the Princess Consort? Let's endure the pain. That's not important right now." Before he could finish, he fainted. On the other side, Heinil told her mother, "His Highness the Prince sent a message. We are leaving Shul tomorrow." The fifth consort looked reluctant to part. "Then today is our last day together. I heard Trikas is a cold and barren place. Are you really going to be okay?" "Mother, it's fine. Didn't you see how much His Highness Prince Bryant cherishes me?" The fifth consort was still worried and said hesitantly, "Heinil, I've been thinking, should I give this to you? My brother gave this to me a long time ago. He said it could be used to win His Majesty's favor." Heinil recalled that when she married Cheltal in her past life, her mother had given her the same medicine, saying she could use it if Cheltal's heart changed. A few months after the marriage, Cheltal began to lose interest in her. When she was helpless, she used the medicine to win back Cheltal's heart. Although she had a child, She could no longer be intimate with Cheltal. Instead, it made him. Heinil tightly gripped the medicine bottle in her hand and said softly, "Mother, thank you. You don't have to worry about me. I will properly assist His Highness Bryant as the Imperial Princess Consort. You must take care of yourself. I will write back often." On the day of departure, Heinil waited for a long time but did not see Lutz. Instead, she saw the king first. The king sternly instructed her, "Heinil, do not forget your duty. I am offering you to Trikas as a symbol of peace. From now on, you must take the lead in maintaining peace between our two nations. Do not do anything that would put us in a difficult position." His Highness the Prince seems to have been angered by the High Priest, so he left early. "Remember to appease him properly." Heinil replied bitterly, "Yes." This man, until the very end, only admonished her as a king, not as a father. The fifth consort tearfully instructed her daughter again to take care of herself. Just as Heinil was stepping into the carriage, she suddenly heard someone call her name. She turned around and saw it was Princess Mai. "Sister, I didn't expect us to part so soon. If I had been a little braver, I could have chatted with you more before you left. I've always wanted to get along well with you, but now we may never see each other again." Heinil showed a warm smile. "It's not too late to start getting along now. Can I write to you?" The two embraced and wept. Mai replied through her tears, "I will write back to you." After the carriage departed, inside the carriage, the maid Dea was a mess of tears and snot, accusing her own princess of trying to leave her behind. Heinil had originally wanted Dea to stay in Sheol, but she cried and begged to leave with her, so Heinil's heart softened and she agreed. Looking at the still crying Dea, she comforted her softly, "Don't cry. I just didn't want you to suffer with me." Dea sobbed, "I'm not crying about that. What saddens me is His Highness the Prince. What kind of groom leaves his bride on their wedding night? No matter how angry he is, he shouldn't do that. He was so affectionate towards you yesterday. How could he change overnight? Don't be sad. This was a political marriage from the start." Heinil felt that just being able to escape Cheltal was enough to be content. Just then, Lutz's adjutant lightly knocked on the carriage window, saying the prince had a message for her. A hint of anticipation appeared on Heinil's face. And at the same time, in the Count's mansion, Cheltal looked at a secret letter, a strange smile appearing on his face. What is he plotting? The woman thought she had finally escaped the entanglement of her past life husband, only to be taken away in the middle of the night. Before this, Heinil planned to arrive at Devon City, the lifelong guardian of hounds and horns. Upon arrival, Heinil asked, "Where is Lutz? Will he be joining me for dinner? Is his urgent business finished?" The adjutant had no choice but to cover for him again. Heinil was shocked when she heard the reply. His Highness fainted after accidentally ingesting poison. Could it be Sheol? The adjutant quickly explained it was likely done by the brothers who were on bad terms with His Highness Bryant. But the poison was neutralized quickly, so his life is not in danger. He just hasn't woken up yet. I'm very sorry that this happened so suddenly, and we couldn't inform you in advance. His Highness still needs to rest quietly. I hope you will sleep in the room next door tonight. Also, please do not reveal His Highness Bryant's condition to anyone. Heinil never expected that someone who seemed so powerful could be felled by poison. And at this moment, her maid Dea was again complaining on her behalf. Not eating together on the first day of marriage is one thing, but you two are even sleeping in separate rooms? Heinil thought she had to keep this a secret from Dea as well, so she could only appease her. His Highness is so busy. Of course I can't disturb him. Dea's spirits were low. A moment later, her fighting spirit was rekindled. Your Highness, I'll sleep outside. Maybe His Highness the Prince will come looking for you. Heinil was amused by her and laughed out loud. She thought to herself that as long as she was with her, everything would be all right no matter what happened. I hope Dea and I can live peacefully in the north. Late at night, Heinil suddenly felt a chill. She sensed someone approaching and thought it was Dea, but the next second, she was bound. The person carried her and ran at high speed. The masked man warned her with a fierce expression, "If you dare make a sound, I'll slit your throat." Heinil trembled with fear. The person was able to evade the guards and escape Devon City in an instant, which meant he was very familiar with this route. But why did he kidnap me? Where is he taking me? If we enter the forest, no one will be able to find me. Anyone please find me. At the same time, Lutz woke up. On the other side, Dea discovered Heinil was gone and was anxiously pounding on the door of Lutz's bedroom. Her voice was choked with sobs. Your Highness the Prince, please help. Her Highness Heinil is missing. Newhome Mountain reappeared in Heinil's past life nightmare. Just as she felt she was about to freeze in her thin clothes, she realized the direction her captor was taking her was Trika's. In her past life, Prince Bryant and his half-brothers fought fiercely for the right of succession. Could the person behind this be someone from the Empire? After reaching their destination, the masked man dragged her off the horse and removed the cloth from her mouth. Just as she was about to ask where they were, a voice that was both familiar and utterly repulsive sounded. "Your Highness, I'm so glad to see you again. I told you I would definitely save you. You can only belong to me." This familiar aura, this familiar voice. This was actually New Home Mountain, the place where Cheltal took her life in her past life. Why am I back here? Am I destined to never escape this person? Then my child. Will I lose him again? I must escape. This time, I absolutely will not let the same fate repeat itself. On the other side, Dea discovered Hynial was missing. She hurriedly asked Lutz for help. Lutz considered that using the knights would easily leak information, so he decided to go himself. But the adjutant was worried that if even he was gone, others would soon discover that both the prince and princess consort were missing. They make up a rumor. Something like the prince took the princess consort on a honeymoon to help her get accustomed to Trika's. The adjutant was speechless. At a time like this, you still have the mind to think about that, but will they believe it? They will. After all, the princess and I put on such a show and show. And the culprit is either that lunatic Cheltal or that scoundrel of the third prince. If my diplomatic mission fails this time, he and his noble mother will definitely use it as an opportunity to say I ruined the relationship between the two countries and then take my life. Moreover, the longer this drags on, the more danger Hynial will be in. I must find her as soon as possible. Lutz had sensed something was wrong when his pouch was stolen earlier. It seems the other party failed to stir up conflict between me and Shoal, so this time they want to use the disappearance of the Shoal princess to get a handle on him. The new queen's two sons. One took my position as crown prince, and the other wishes he could take everything else I have left. If everything is taken from me, I will only be ruthlessly abandoned. So, I will absolutely not let anyone take my things away again. Kidnapped on her wedding night by her crazy past life husband, Hynial ran for her life to avoid repeating the tragedy of her previous life. But how could a noble lady with no strength to even trust a chicken break free from the hands of a strong man? Hynial looked at Cheltal with fury. The man, however, acted as if he didn't see it. He took off his outer robe and draped it over her, asking with concern if she was hurt. When he saw the bruises on Hynial, Cheltal's face instantly became terrifyingly grim. He had clearly instructed that she should not have any blemishes on her body. In an instant, a dagger pierced through the man's chest. The man collapsed to the ground in an instant. Hynial screamed in terror, but the crazed Cheltal looked nonchalant. "Oh dear, did I scare you? But I had no choice. Who told him to not only leave a blemish on you, but also look at what belongs to me?" Cheltal brought Hynial to his private villa. "No one will find us here. I'm so looking forward to our belated first night." Hynial shouted in terror. "Are you insane? I am the imperial princess consort of the Empire. My marriage is a political alliance between two nations. If we're discovered, it's not just you. Even Shul will suffer. Don't worry. This is exactly the result the Empire wants," he said, pressing himself tightly against Hynial. Hynial instinctively tried to dodge, but he grabbed her by the ankle. "Don't move. If you try to get away again, I won't be able to care about your condition and will just pounce on you." She froze in place, not daring to move again. But her mind was racing. The result the Empire wants? Is this a tactic by the Empire to put Lutz in a crisis? Just then, Cheltal saw that her mind was wandering, and his eyes instantly darkened. "I'm right here in front of you. What are you so lost in thought about? In that case, let's do something that won't let you get distracted." An almost crazed excitement churned in his eyes, and his breath became hot. Hynial struggled. "I can't let him have his way." Suddenly, she gently touched his cheek. "Cheltal, I don't like this. It's too unromantic. Although the political marriage made our relationship awkward, I know you love me. I want to be in your arms too, but I'm too cold right now. Wait until I warm up, okay?" Cheltal's face instantly lit up with joy. "Hynial, you're right. I was too hasty. That man got me so dirty. I want to take a bath and change into clean clothes. Is that okay?" Cheltal's eyes became hazy and unfocused. "Of course. I'll go prepare the bathwater for you myself." After saying that, he turned and left. He didn't forget to lock the door tightly. Haniel waited for a moment. Making sure there was no sound, she immediately rushed to the balcony. The balcony was high off the ground. She tore down the curtains. She tied them together strip by strip. A moment later, Cheltul, humming a little tune, came upstairs with the prepared items. He opened the door with a smile on his face, only to see Haniel preparing to escape. He instantly flew into a rage. "What are you doing?" Haniel hurriedly climbed over the railing, but just as she touched the air outside the wall, her wrist was grabbed by Cheltul. The next second, he pulled her back, along with the cloth rope. He threw her harshly to the ground. The pressure around Cheltul dropped suddenly. "What were you just doing?" Haniel said nothing, just stared fiercely at the man. Cheltul grabbed Haniel's neck. His eyes surged with violence. "You dare to lie to me, a woman born of a maid. It's your good fortune that I've taken a liking to you. How dare you not know your place? I was planning to dote on you like a princess, but now it seems you're only fit to be my plaything. You'd better recognize your position soon. Your face is injured. What a buzzkill. I don't like flawed things. Now I'm going to get some medicine. I'm warning you, if you dare to run again, I'll make tonight unforgettable for you." Meanwhile, to find Haniel as quickly as possible, Lutz had to use that power. "Go, take the magic crystal." This was the beastly power he had been controlled by since childhood. The farther the magic crystal was, the stronger his perception became, able to capture subtle scents that humans couldn't detect. Found her. When Lutz arrived, there was only a man's corpse on the ground. Lutz prepared to use his magic again, and found her scent coming from that building. It seems she's in there. But the next second, Lutz collapsed with a thud. This power had been used frequently, causing the energy in his body to become so chaotic it was on the verge of running rampant. "No, I have to hold on a little longer." At this time, Haniel was alone in the room. She was extremely anxious. "If I'm forced by Cheltul like this, will His Highness Bryant still accept me? Am I destined to become his plaything in this life? No, I can't be so negative. I must think of another way." She looked around, searching for something she could use. Suddenly, there was a sound at the door. Who could it be? Is it Cheltul returning with the medicine? Or is it Lutz, who has come to find me? On her wedding night, the woman is abused. The prince rushes to the rescue. He brutally tortures her crazy husband from her past life. On the way back, their relationship heats up. Previously, Haniel's escape from the balcony failed. As she was anxiously searching for an escape tool, the door suddenly made a noise. She gripped the shovel defensively. With a loud crash, the one who stepped into the room was actually Lutz. After entering, he saw her holding a shovel. He couldn't help but tease, "Your way of welcoming me is really special." Haniel instantly rushed forward and hugged him tightly. "Thank you for coming to save me." Lutz's face turned red from the hug. "Calm down. Let's get out of here first." As soon as he finished speaking, Lutz picked up the barefoot Haniel. Haniel's cheeks flushed red. She gently held on to him. Just as they left the bedroom, they ran right into Cheltul. Cheltul wanted to draw his sword and snatch her back, but facing Lutz's oppressive aura, he chickened out on the spot. He turned and ran to find reinforcements. Lutz told Haniel to wait there while he chased after him. Cheltul thought his reinforcements were almost there, so he started to shout provocations. Lutz couldn't be bothered with nonsense. He raised his 1.2-meter-long blade and swung. In just a few strikes, he had cut Cheltul down to the ground. He brought his blade down and cut off the other's finger. He said coldly, "If you want to keep your remaining fingers, tell me who ordered you." Cheltul was still being stubborn, so Lutz kicked out his teeth. "Who ordered you? It seems you're waiting for those 11 red-cloaked knights to save you. But what can you do? They've all been executed by me. It was just their bad luck to run into me while I was on a rampage. Now, can you talk?" Cheltul screamed in terror. It was the third prince of Trika's, Cairo. "I was just following orders." The answer was what Lutz had expected, but for daring to touch his wife. The punishment couldn't be light, so Lutz unleashed another round of attacks. When Haniel peeked out to check, Cheltul's face had been beaten into a pulp. Lutz took off Cheltul's shoes and told Haniel to make do with them for now. "Time is tight. We have to leave quickly." Haniel hesitated slightly. "Is it okay to just leave him like this? I like to kill him, but that psycho seems to have connections with the Empire, and my father would hold me responsible for not protecting the tribute. He'd also use messing up the peace mission to find fault with me. It's a pity, but this is all we can do for now. Besides, this guy won't dare tell anyone the truth. But you've really impressed me. You didn't even cry after something like this happened. I was actually very scared, but you came to save me." At that moment, the adjutant arrived to meet up with Lutz. He instructed the adjutant to clean up the mess, then swept Haniel up in his arms. He placed her on the horse's back. You hold on tight to me. I'm going to ride at full speed. Be careful not to fall off. Because the speed was too fast, Heinil felt like she was about to be thrown off. Her body unconsciously pressed tightly against Lutz, and her hands held on even tighter. This series of intimate contacts was a bit much for Lutz, whose senses were already heightened. They transferred to a carriage. Lutz was affected by the beastly power. The chaotic energy within him had yet to calm down. He could only close his eyes and suppress it. But the scent from Heinil's body kept wafting to his nose. She also occasionally leaned closer, making it even more unbearable for him. Heinil saw that his condition was getting worse and reached out to check if he had a fever. But before her fingertips could touch him, Lutz grabbed her hand. Her cheeks instantly flushed bright red. She whispered in shock, "Oh my God, how could this be?" What did Heinil see that made her exclaim in surprise? The prince plays the hero, saving the beauty. On the way back, the ambiguous atmosphere between them continues to heat up. The air is as sweet as honey. In the carriage, the beastly power within Lutz caused his energy to be so chaotic that it had yet to calm down. He could clearly capture the scent of Heinil's body. It made him increasingly restless. Just as Heinil reached out to check if he had a fever, Lutz grabbed her hand. "Didn't I tell you to stay still and not do anything?" Heinil's gaze subconsciously drifted downwards. Instantly, her cheeks flushed bright red. She whispered in shock, "Oh my God, in this state, how could he? I didn't even do anything." Heinil, with her face beet red, hastily sat back in her original position. Instantly, the carriage was filled with an ambiguous atmosphere. Heinil tried to break the awkwardness. Your Highness, how did you find me?" "With your hair ribbon. I found it in the forest." The two chatted idly. Heinil saw that Lutz was still very uncomfortable and suggested stopping the carriage to rest. The two arrived at a nearby post station. The subordinate helped Lutz to the bed and then left. Heinil hesitated, wanting to step forward and help. But Lutz spoke first, telling her to leave. But she was full of worry and stayed in the room. However, Lutz was almost driven out of control by her strong scent. Even his breathing became hot. Heinil thought of helping him change into more comfortable clothes. The moment she reached out to touch him, Lutz suddenly pulled her over, a dangerous aura emanating from him. Don't willingly exude the scent of blood in front of a hungry beast. Lutz suppressed the desire in his heart, his voice deep. "Get out. If you don't leave now, I'll have you spend your first night here." After saying that, he was about to get up and leave. But Heinil gently pressed against him from behind. "Your Highness, it's all right, even if we spend it here." She knew clearly in her heart, Lutz might have saved her only to fulfill the responsibility of the peace treaty. He had no feelings for her. Although I don't know the reason, he's in an aroused state right now. I have to get pregnant with his child now. "Your Highness, I am your wife. I promise to fulfill all the duties of a wife, so you don't have to hold back." Lutz suppressed his agitation. He didn't want to be looked at like a monster again because he went on a rampage. I have to push her away. But Heinil's closeness actually caused the surging demonic energy in his body to gradually calm down. What is this warm and strangely reassuring, comfortable feeling? After the innocent beast had his first satisfying meal, he slowly figured out how to dote on his wife. The chaotic energy in Lutz's body, due to Heinil's closeness, the surging demonic energy gradually calmed down. This warm and comfortable feeling made him widen his big, beautiful eyes. Heinil noticed that he seemed to have calmed down a bit, so she said, "Why don't you take a bath first? I'll have someone prepare some food. You haven't eaten much." Lutz's eyes were unfocused as he agreed. He had thought that embracing a woman would make him more like a beast. But strangely, he didn't feel that way. During the bath, Heinil shyly looked left and right, debating whether to leave. Before she could make up her mind, Lutz's voice suddenly came. "Aren't you going to help me wash? Besides, you need to wash too. Why don't we wash together? It'll save time." Heinil covered her burning cheeks, her words stumbling. "Washington together?" Seeing her like this, Lutz couldn't help but laugh. "What? Don't a wife's duties include this?" Heinil's whole body flushed red. "That's right. I was the one who wanted to have a child quickly. It's rare that he's interested." Lutz looked at her back. His heart pounded. "I don't get it. I've seen it once before. Why does it feel completely different from last time?" This unfamiliar palpitation made him feel inexplicably dangerous. He clenched his fist. "I've changed my mind. You should leave. We should sleep separately tonight. After all, for the prince and princess consort's first night, spending it here is too hasty. We'll choose another time at the palace later." Heinil froze on the spot. Just a moment ago, he was so interested in me. Why so quickly? If I miss this chance, who knows how long I'll have to wait? I already told you it's okay here. You could do as you please. She thought, this isn't that difficult. After all, I've had a child in my past life. Lutz pulled her into his arms. A forceful and somewhat reckless kiss suddenly fell. Ignoring the water not yet wiped from their bodies, they went straight to the bed. Under this forceful attack, even though Heineel had experienced it in her past life, she was still nervous and scared at this moment. And her reaction made Lutz mistakenly think she was unwilling. Heineel hurriedly explained that she was just a little scared. So Lutz actually showed a gentleness he had never had in his life. This made Heineel gradually lose herself in this gentle embrace. The next morning, Lutz gently woke Heineel up. She sat up, her eyes still hazy from just waking up. Lutz reached out and caressed her. Why are there so many marks? Did I do this? Heineel's face instantly turned bright red. The marks on my neck and cheeks were caused by Count Phil. The rest. Ryu. Lutz recalled their first night together. His forceful and domineering attack. He couldn't help but blush. Get up and eat something first. During the meal, Heineel kept dozing off, and Lutz's thoughts drifted far away. He thought about his frantic actions last night. Was it because I took off the magic crystal that my instincts devour my reason? But it doesn't seem to be the case. It wasn't like a beast satisfying its senses through plunder. Compared to that, it felt more like floating on a cloud, warm and pleasant. Is this what the relationship between a husband and wife is like? Don't doze off. I've deboned the meat for you. Eat this. The food here isn't great, but it's better than an empty stomach. The two chatted normally, making Heineel feel as if they were just an ordinary couple. And last night, he was gentler than I imagined, different from the rumors. He doesn't seem that violent, and he's even a little goo. But as Lutz watched her eat with relish, he was already getting restless. As soon as she finished eating, he swept her up in his arms. Let's do it again. Heineel was rendered speechless by her own recent thought. Goo, where's he cute? He's clearly a crazed beast. The air in the carriage was a little awkward. Heineel turned her face away, pouting. Lutz was a little flustered by her expression. He asked tentatively, is it uncomfortable to sit? It's still bearable, but the fast speed made the carriage jolt constantly. Lutz saw her face gradually turning pale. He immediately told the driver to slow down. He himself was a little embarrassed. He cleared his throat and explained, we have enough time, so it's fine to travel slowly. If we really can't make it, we can enter the palace separately. I've already given instructions. If we don't arrive, they will go to Tubin themselves. But Dea will definitely be scared. Lutz frowned. You are the princess consort. Why are you still concerned about a maid's feelings? Enough nonsense. Get some sleep. Heineel mumbled with a flushed face. You're the one who's making it impossible for me to sleep. Lutz, knowing he was at fault, carefully shifted. He gently pulled her into his arms, letting her lean on his shoulder. Don't talk. Get some sleep. Heineel secretly peeked and saw the tips of his ears were bright red. She thought to herself, he really is a little cute. They finally arrived at Fort Hawk. Heineel and her maid hugged each other tightly, but Lutz's subordinate looked at him with a serious expression. She had thought it was gentleness, but he repeatedly reminded her that it was all an act. But was it really just an act? Lutz knew this kidnapping was related to the royal family, but he chose to cover it up, because even if he brought Cheltel Phil to the Empire as a witness, the other party would never cooperate obediently. What's more, those people will ultimately pin the conflict on him. No matter how it's made public, the situation will not be in his favor. They probably won't be satisfied until he dies on the battlefield. Regarding this kidnapping, Lutz didn't expect Heineel to be so brave. Do you like the princess consort that much? I thought you two were late because you weren't feeling well. Turns out that wasn't it. Were you that impatient to spend a passionate first night in a place like that? I took off my sachet for her, and it caused some side effects. That's all. Let's go. Heineel curiously looked at the snowy scenery outside the window. She slowly reached out her hand to catch the falling snowflakes. Lutz watched her quietly from the side, but the warmth of that night surfaced in his mind. He couldn't understand why he felt that way. Since he was young, once he was eroded by the demonic energy, he was left with only beastly instincts. Even his family members were unwilling to get close. He also thought she would be afraid of him, avoid him, but she approached him again and again. He clenched his fists, forcing himself to wake up. No one can guarantee they'll be lucky forever. If I lose control, I might kill my wife with my own hands. Don't forget the conditions of our marriage. Other than giving birth to an heir, we're not to develop any feelings for each other. Let's have the maid get out of the carriage. He reminded her again, I lied to everyone that we were on our honeymoon, which is why we returned late. And I made a grand proposal to you in Shul. So we have to pretend to be deeply in love. Be natural. At least in front of the emperor, you have to act the part. And don't mistake my feigned gentleness for real. Haniel responded with a yes in a low spirit. She couldn't help but think, was his previous gentleness just because he enjoyed himself that night? That makes sense. He said long ago he wouldn't have any interest in me. Suddenly, Lutz handed her a veil. Haniel tilted her head in confusion. Is this a rule of the Trika's royal family? Women can't show their faces in front of the emperor? Lutz slightly raised his chin. You can't go in looking like this, can you? Some of those marks would make anyone suspicious. Haniel hurriedly put on the veil. Then Lutz handed her an exquisite gift box. When she opened it, she was stunned. Inside was a gorgeous pearl necklace. It's so beautiful. Hurry up and try it on. Let me see if it can cover everything. After putting it on, Haniel reached a new level of beauty. So beautiful that Lutz was lost in a daze, his cheeks quietly turning red. He realized he had been staring too intently and quickly coughed to cover it up. Not long after, the two slowly walked into the palace. The Empress immediately launched an attack. Why is she wearing a veil? Even after Lutz explained, the Empress still insisted she take it off. Just as Haniel hesitated, Lutz gently held her, meeting the Empress's hostile gaze. A moment later, Lutz asked gently. After getting her permission, he lifted a corner of the veil. As you can see, I couldn't control my strength. My wife feels embarrassed. Please allow her to cover her face. Seeing this, the Emperor suddenly laughed loudly. It seems you've had a good taste of a woman. Princess, you may continue to wear your veil. Lutz, I also remember the days you spent on the battlefield protecting Trikas. Now that you're married, it's time to enjoy some peace and comfort. Although I hope so too. If the bloodshed doesn't stop, just one wife might not be enough to satisfy me. The Emperor's expression changed instantly. He quickly changed the subject. Haniel Bryant, Princess, since you have started a family with the prince, I hope you can assist your husband well and contribute to the prosperity of the Trika's royal family. Lutz frowned and interrupted. Your form of address is wrong. Since she has married me, she should no longer be called princess. She is also a member of the royal family. Please acknowledge her status as the princess consort. Haniel knew in her heart he wasn't saying this to defend her, but to fight against the royal family that looked down on him. The emperor just faintly mentioned the welcome party was postponed because of you and left with the empress. Lutz clenched his fists. His mother was an empress in name only. My father doted exclusively on Psyche. My mother once hoped to win my father's love after giving birth to me. But when she learned I carried the Trika's royal family's curse, she fell into complete despair. In the end, she died of illness from unrequited love. And just after she passed away, Psyche couldn't wait to usurp the empress's position. From that moment on, I resolved to never again yearn for a love I couldn't have, lest I end up dying with regrets. As he was immersed in past emotions, Haniel gently approached. He reflexively flung her hand away. Haniel, looking slightly awkward, reminded him, "Didn't you say we have to pretend to be in love?" Lutz came back to his senses. He quickly took the hand he had just flung away and explained again, "Don't misunderstand. What happened that day was just to solidify the excuse for our late return. It was also to make others believe that I'm head over heels for you. That's all." But Haniel smiled. "You're very wise. I will cooperate with your plan and act the part." Looking at Haniel like this, Lutz repeatedly brainwashed himself in his mind. That's right. This is an act. It's fine to maintain this state. The man who always talks about faking it. His body is very honest. When he's in a bad mood, he wants to hug his fragrant, soft wife. To match the necklace Lutz gave her, Haniel had her maid search through all the luggage, only finding a gorgeous but slightly daring dress. To be safe, she wore a shawl. The moment she stepped into the banquet hall, she became the center of attention. The surrounding gazes were filled with ill intent. A blonde man even deliberately spilled red wine on her. The shawl also accidentally fell off. The man was none other than the third prince, Cairo Bryant. The man put on a welcoming facade, but his words were full of barbs, implicitly mocking her for becoming the princess consort by using her sexy attire to win the second prince's favor. Haniel looked at him with shame and anger. If I panic now, I'll also put His Highness Lutz in an awkward position. So I must display the demeanor befitting a princess and a princess consort. It seems I'm unfamiliar with northern culture and have startled everyone. I came here immediately after my marriage to His Highness and haven't had time to learn the customs of Trikas. I hope you will all be understanding. Greetings, third prince, princess consort. I look forward to your guidance in the future. The third prince was left speechless by her dignified response. He could only leave in disgrace. At the same time, Lutz was looking for Heinil everywhere because he was late. He finally saw her in the center of the crowd. Heinil happened to turn around, looking at him with a gentle smile. Lutz's heart once again began to beat uncontrollably. Heinil said softly, "Your Highness, the banquet hall is colder than I thought. May I borrow your cloak?" Lutz said nothing, just took off his cloak and draped it over her shoulders. His tone was low. "Let's talk." The two walked to the terrace. Lutz, without distinguishing right from wrong, questioned her. "Why are you wearing this kind of dress?" Heinil was full of apology. "I'm sorry. The clothes I brought from Shoal are all very thin and don't match this necklace. I was going to cover up with a shawl, but the third prince spilled wine on it. So I'm really sorry." Lutz glanced at the wine stain on her dress. A sense of remorse arose. "I was in too much of a hurry to leave and didn't give you time to prepare clothes. I should have prepared them in advance. But I was so disoriented by the kidnapping incident that I forgot. It's all my fault. I'll find someone to teach you the customs of Trikas, and I'll have someone get you some clothes. The third prince deliberately humiliated you because of me. Since you've become my wife, things like this will happen often in the future. I told you before, even as the princess consort, you won't enjoy any rights. Your days in the imperial family will not be easy. I was already prepared for that. Besides, I was the one who asked you to marry me, so I'm willing to endure anything. Then let's go in." The two returned to the banquet. Heinil scanned the people present. Empress Psyche, who had pushed aside the former empress to stand at the pinnacle of power. The first prince, who took the position of crown prince from Lutz. And the third prince, who seized real power in the palace while the first prince was ill. Within 2 years, all these people will die, and he, Lutz Bryant, will become the emperor of the empire. As the two interacted in low voices, Empress Psyche repeatedly picked on them. Lutz lost his patience, his tone harsh. "If it weren't for my leniency back then, the Holden, Pema, and Sanders families present today would have been annihilated long ago, when these families were funding anti-imperial forces. If I hadn't stopped it in time, would the two of you still be sitting here?" The emperor, who had just arrived, his face darkened. "Why are you bringing this up now?" Lutz laughed. "It's because you two don't see my wife as family. So I thought you had even forgotten that I am your son." The emperor, knowing he was in the wrong, promised to arrange for Heinil to be officially recognized as a member of the imperial family as soon as possible, so that Heinil wouldn't have to endure people's scorn any longer. Lutz ordered his adjutant, Evan, to escort her back to rest. Just then, a silver-haired man stepped forward. "Greetings, Your Highness the Princess Consort. I am Hakelake." Before Heinil could say anything, Lutz quickly dismissed him, telling him not to bother someone who was going to rest. But Hakel teased, "You're worried the pack of wolves will swarm in, so you want to send her away early, don't you?" But Lutz ignored his nonsense and urged his adjutant to quickly take her away. As she was leaving, Heinil glanced back and curiously asked Evan, "Was that man just now a member of the royal family?" Lord Hakel is the chancellor of this country. The chancellor? But he looks even younger than his highness. That just shows he has extraordinary talent. Even the second prince highly approves of him. However, his highness dislikes his neurotic personality. Late at night, Lutz arrived at Heinil's chambers looking displeased. Without a word, he pulled Heinil into an embrace. He muttered in a low voice, "I'm so annoyed. Don't wear that dress from today again. Those men who are looking at you, I wanted to gouge out all their eyes. It took everything I had to hold back." It seemed that after she left, people were still discussing her attire. Heinil gently patted him. "I'm sorry. You have a hard time. I'll be more careful in the future." Lutz looked at the enchanting Heinil and lowered his head for a kiss. The restlessness in his body, the feeling of annoyance, were instantly alleviated by her intimacy. Why did he calm down as soon as she touched him? This was his wife, who would stay by his side, fall into his arms, and bear his child. Lutz's intimate actions, Your Highness, made Heinil's cheeks flush red. She pushed him gently. "Your Highness. Your Highness?" Lutz had a roguish look on his face. "We need to have a child. Isn't that what you want too?" She knew his gentleness was all an act, yet she still hoped this gentleness could be different. The moment Lutz entered her chambers, he wanted to have a child with her. Heinil shyly pushed him away, saying she hadn't bathed. She even blamed him for getting straight to the point last time, without washing. Looking at her adorable appearance, Lutz said, "Then hurry up." Heinil, while pushing him, repeatedly promised she would be quick. The maid, Dea remembered Lutz's dark expression from earlier and feared her princess would be disliked. So she took a bottle of something like essential oil that she had found by chance and added it to the bathwater. She wanted Heinil to exude a pleasant fragrance, hoping it would improve the prince's mood. After preparing it, she left. Heinil soaked in the bath. She remembered Lutz's urging words again, and her cheeks flushed red once more. He had said such things before, but now he had been given a hard time today because of her, yet he comforted her instead. Maybe his gentleness was genuine. Suddenly, there was a sound behind her. She turned around and was lifted up by Lutz, who couldn't wait any longer. Countless kisses rained down. Heinil was at a loss. She pushed him hard, but saw that Lutz's eyes were bordering on frenzy, radiating danger. It made her feel a trace of fear involuntarily. Lutz could no longer concentrate. His senses of sight and hearing seemed to be paralyzed. Only his instinctual desire grew stronger and stronger. That fragrance, with every breath, it felt like his mind was on fire, making his keen senses scream wildly. Lutz clenched the magic crystal, trying hard to control his agitation. He couldn't hurt her. Although Lutz tried his best to restrain himself, and his movements were restrained, Heinil still found it hard to adapt. With tears in her eyes, she asked him to be gentler, saying she was in pain. Lutz simply couldn't hold back. After an unknown amount of time, Heinil's stamina was completely exhausted. Even as she begged him for mercy with tears in her eyes, he showed no intention of stopping. That's right. My only duty is to bear his child. Other than that, I can't ask anything of him. Because of his gentleness, I almost forgot my duty and my place. I feel foolish for my heart fluttering for him from time to time. I was already terribly harmed by Cheltel. How can I still be so foolish as to hold onto expectations? Anyway, my only use is to give birth to an heir. After the child is born, giving all my love to the child will be enough. After a fierce wave, calm finally returned. Lutz looked at Heinil beside him, his heart filled with regret. How could he have tormented her like that last night? Why can't I ever control myself? Last time it was because I was tracking her, frequently removing the magic crystal, which caused my energy to spiral out of control. But this time was clearly different. Could it be true, as others say, that I'm really a madman no different from a beast? Will she be afraid of me too? Avoid me? Will the look in her eyes when she sees me be like she's looking at a disgusting beast? I don't want her to treat me like that. I want her to be like that time. I don't want to be hated by her. I want her forgiveness. But why do I always have such a strong desire for her? Afterwards, Lutz got up and specifically instructed the servants to prepare a meal in the Schul style. Just as he finished his instructions, he noticed Heinil was awake. He immediately handed her a glass of water. Heinil paused, telling herself not to overthink it. This gentleness was just something he was doing because he had his fill last night. Lutz hesitated. About yesterday. Before he could finish, Heinil interrupted him with a knowing smile. It's all right. I know. Yesterday at the palace, you pretended to be deeply in love with me. So of course you had to hold me in your arms at night, so no one would be suspicious. I didn't misunderstand. I will also follow your initial request and not develop any feelings aside from for the child. Her words were like a hand choking Lutz's throat. The words on the tip of his tongue were all stuck in his throat. Isn't this exactly what I wanted? What's there to be shocked about? I could go berserk at any moment. So this is for the best. The air was silent for a moment. Lutz broke the silence, asking how her body was. Heinil replied that she was fine. I was a bit late last night, which displeased you. From now on, whenever you need me, at any time, I will immediately go to the prince's palace to see you. Because my only wish is also to conceive a child as soon as possible. I must conceive a child before he loses interest in me. In that case, come to my bedroom tonight. Be prepared, even if you cry out in pain like last night. I won't go easy on you. The moment Lutz stepped out, he cursed under his breath in frustration. Damn it. Just then, a guard came stammering to report. While cleaning the princess consort's bathroom, a maid discovered a drug similar to an aphrodisiac. Although I've never heard of it being mixed in water, regardless of its effect, it is a wicked drug. So this subordinate was wondering, did the princess consort have ulterior motives, trying to seduce you? These words made Lutz remember. He did indeed smell a strange fragrance in the bathroom yesterday. So it wasn't because of his demonic energy, but because he was influenced by a drug that he lost his senses. But why would Heinil use that kind of drug on him? Was she worried he wouldn't have a child with her? If she really used the drug to seduce him, then didn't she get what she wanted? But why was she so cold in the morning? I really can't figure out what she's thinking. I really want to have a proper talk with her. Meanwhile, Heinil was in the study writing letters to her mother and Mai. Beside her, Dea was again indignant on her behalf, thinking about Heinil having to go to the prince's palace again tonight. She asked if the bottle of essential oil from yesterday was used up and if she should buy a new one. Heinil looked up abruptly, her face full of surprise. Essential oil? You put all of it in? That's a drug that can make someone go wild like a beast with just a single sip. No wonder His Highness lost his senses yesterday. It was because of the effect of this drug. Then his true feelings. Could they be different? Although she knew she couldn't hold on to hope anymore, her heart still pounded because of that flutter. Meanwhile, Lutz, wanting to salvage something, had specially arranged to dine with Heinil. But after waiting for a long time, she hadn't arrived. He started to get anxious. Was it because of what he said before? Was she trying to back out, but couldn't? Just then, Heinil finally arrived. Lutz's gaze was fixed on her exceptionally beautiful figure. He stood up reflexively, his heart pounding uncontrollably. The tough talker who kept saying, "Don't misunderstand, it's all fake," had already unconsciously drowned in his beloved wife's tenderness. His heart was uncontrollably drawing closer to that flutter. Not long ago, Lutz learned that due to the mistake of her dowry maid, he had almost lost control and hurt her. To prevent the maid from causing even greater trouble, he immediately proposed sending her away. Heinil's face instantly turned ashen. In that lonely palace, Dea had been with her since childhood, treating her like a sister. She had even left her homeland for her sake. How could she let Dea return to Shul alone? Your Highness, in your eyes, she indeed has many shortcomings. But she is the only person here I can trust and rely on. I will discipline her properly in the future. I beg you to make an exception just this once. Lutz was stunned and muttered, "The only one she can trust and rely on?" After a long silence, "This time, I can let it go. But if there is a next time, I will not spare her." Heinil stared blankly at his departing figure. Although his words were harsh, His Highness was indeed a gentle person. Perhaps, even if they couldn't be lovers, they could still move forward side by side as good partners. The next day, as soon as Dea stepped into the kitchen, she heard two maids chattering in admiration. The princess consort is not only beautiful, but also has a gentle personality. No wonder His Highness the Prince is so captivated by the princess consort. These words made Dea very proud. With her master being favored, her status also rose. She cleared her throat. "Is the water for the tea ready?" "What kind of tea is this?" a maid asked, peeking over curiously. "It seems the princess consort only drinks this tea." Dea straightened her back, her face full of pride. "This is an Alunio tea. Only royalty and nobility are qualified to drink it." She glanced at the maid. "This is a very precious thing. Don't even think about stealing a sip." The maid trembled in fear. "If I stole something belonging to the princess consort, I'm afraid His Highness would chop off my hands." It wouldn't go that far, would it? Although His Highness looks scary, he wouldn't be that cruel, would he? I feel like His Highness isn't that heartless. Meanwhile, Heinil was pondering how to repay Lutz for his kindness in not sending Dea away. But all she knew was a vague future. If she could find out the situation in Shul, perhaps she could deduce those things. Because of her changes, Mai had married Cheltel. She wondered how she was doing. That man dared to kidnap even the princess consort of the empire. He certainly wouldn't treat Mai well. Would she be suffering the same fate as Heinil in her past life? So, she decided to write a letter to her and her mother to inquire about their recent situation. Besides, what major event happened in the empire around this time? His Highness the Crown Prince passed away. In her past life, after the Crown Prince's death, the struggle for succession officially began. Although the future might not follow this path, once this struggle begins, she must help His Highness Lutz win. But rather than simply helping, it would be better to pull down his competitor. After all, the third prince is someone who would do anything for the throne. In her past life, although Lutz ultimately won, he paid a heavy price. This time, she wants to help him minimize his losses. But how can she bring down the third prince? At this time, would His Highness be in the study? Better to act than to just think. Heinil dressed up meticulously and went to find him in the study. Lutz's gaze was instantly locked onto her beautiful figure. but the words that came out of his mouth were heartbreaking. Is it necessary to dress up like this just to come to the study? Heinil explained dejectedly. I was thinking of coming to see you, so I dressed up carefully. Don't you like it? I mean, you look very beautiful like this. His sweet words instantly made Heinil break into a smile. Suddenly, he rose and walked towards her. Heinil watched the figure suddenly approach, her heartbeat unconsciously quickening, her cheeks gradually turning crimson. She saw Lutz's fingertips gently brush through her hair, picking off a piece of debris stuck there. Realizing she had been getting ahead of herself, Heinil's cheeks burned hot. She nervously flicked her hair. How embarrassing. What was I expecting? She composed herself. Your Highness, I want to learn how to ride a horse. I heard that women in Trikas all love to ride. I feel I should learn too, so I don't make a fool of myself in the future. If she wanted to gather information in the palace, she had to interact with others. And the first step was to change everyone's stereotype of a woman from Shul who wears a skirt of shame. Lutz nodded. But I don't have time today. I'll teach you when I'm free. Huh, you're going to teach me how to ride personally? Is it that you don't trust me? Lutz turned his face away and huffed. No, learning to ride inevitably involves physical contact. Rather than having to see that kind of scene, I'd rather teach her myself. As he spoke, he pushed her towards the door. Anyway, I've decided to teach you myself. You can go out first. The next day, the two began their sweet daily horse riding routine. When Heinil tried to gently stroke the horse, her eyes were full of tenderness. She didn't expect it to be softer and more docile than she imagined. Under Lutz's guidance, she successfully stepped into the stirrup. Lutz was also happy for her joy. The next second, Lutz lifted Heinil up and placed her securely on the horse's back. Heinil's cheeks instantly flushed red as she thanked him repeatedly. Lutz told her to gently pull the reins to try and make the horse walk. She pulled tentatively. Seeing this, Lutz couldn't help but laugh out loud. With such a light touch, it'd be a miracle if the horse moved. Heinil applied a little more force, but the horse suddenly bolted. She was so scared her face turned pale. What do I do, Your Highness? Heinil, calm down. Slowly pull the reins again and lean your body back at the same time. Heinil nervously closed her eyes and did as he said. The moment the horse stopped, Lutz rushed forward like a shooting star, his face full of anxiety. Are you all right? Heinil was still shaken, but she managed to smile. I'm Yufine, just a little scared. I'm sorry. It's my fault. I've never taught a first-time rider before, so it seems I went too fast. Can you get down? I'll help you. He held Heinil securely in his arms. The two locked eyes, and the air around them seemed to be tinged with an ambiguous warmth. But Lutz cursed himself inwardly. Not only did he fail to teach her, but he also nearly got her hurt. Next time, I'll arrange a professional trainer for you. For today, just rest. Heinil watched Lutz's departing figure, a warmth spreading in her heart. She never thought His Highness would worry about her so much. But if this continues, I'll start having expectations. A sentence, I have never regretted it, would be the final push for the tough talker's wavering heart, cementing those true feelings and making him fall for her completely, unable to pull himself away. One day, Heinil was practicing her riding near the hunting grounds when she unexpectedly ran into the third prince, Cairo, the mastermind behind her kidnapping. Recalling the rumors from her past life that he had murdered the crown prince, she accepted Cairo's invitation to hunt in order to gather information. The two arrived at the hunting grounds. The empty surroundings made Cairo feel slightly awkward for not being able to show off his skills. But Heinil didn't mind at all and instead began to probe. I heard not long ago that His Highness the Crown Prince is critically ill. You must be very sad. Yes, my eldest brother's condition is extremely serious. Even numerous famous doctors have been unable to find the cause of his illness. Heinil looked at his seemingly genuine sad expression, which reminded her of her past life, when, just after the crown prince died, he immediately framed His Highness Lutz as the murderer. That confident posture was as if he had long been certain the crown prince was murdered. It was just that in the end, His Highness Lutz still won. She probed again. It seems His Highness the crown prince's situation is not very optimistic. Yes, his face is pale, and he's growing thinner by the day. It wouldn't be surprising if he passed away suddenly. Heinil was suddenly alarmed. In her past life, the reason the crown prince's death caused controversy was precisely because his illness wasn't considered very serious. Was this man lying to her? But if what he said was true, then the time of the crown prince's death might be earlier than she knew. Suddenly, the sound of galloping hooves rang out. Lutz arrived anxiously and shouted at him to leave. Cairo quietly picked up his riding crop. As you wish. I'll disappear from your sight right now. The next second, the crop suddenly whipped viciously at Heinle's mount. The startled horse threw her off, its hooves charging straight towards her. Heinle cried out in pain. Lutz rushed forward at lightning speed to restrain the panicked horse. He asked urgently, "Heinle, are you all right?" Seeing she was covered in scratches. He glared angrily in the direction Cairo had departed and drew his sword to give chase. "Your Highness, no. If you go after him, a fierce fight will surely break out." Lutz's expression was ferocious. "You provoked me first. Why should I tolerate it?" Heinle's pupils shrank. She absolutely could not let them start their war early because of her. The path of this life was already becoming more and more different from her previous one. What if he lost his life in a fight with the third prince? She pleaded with a sob. "Your Highness, I don't want you to get hurt because of me. I'm begging you, don't go." Seeing this, Lutz's anger instantly dissipated. He coughed lightly to hide the faint blush on his cheeks. "I didn't expect you to be so worried." Heinle's heart tightened. Is this strange? After all, they weren't truly in love with each other. She quickly explained, "I was just a little worried. I haven't conceived a child yet. If something happened to you, I'm afraid I wouldn't be able to survive alone in Trichas." So she wasn't worried about him, just afraid she wouldn't be able to conceive a child. Lutz's expression suddenly turned grim. "Why do you want a child so badly? Is someone forcing you behind my back?" "No, that's not it. It's probably because I never received true affection from my father, so I've always wanted to have a child of my own." No wonder she's so obsessed with having a child. So that's what she's thinking. This made him inexplicably think of his mother. He pressed his lips together. "But why did you choose me? Even if you bear my child, you won't be accepted here. You'll only suffer from scorn." Heinle lowered her eyes without a word, but denied it in her heart. "That's not true. You will definitely become the emperor of Trichas. At that time, my child, as the crown prince, will be accepted by everyone. Even if the future is different from what she knows, she will definitely make it develop that way." Seeing her silent for a long time, Lutz sighed lightly. "Get up. You probably can't ride a horse like this. Get on my horse." The ride back was silent. Lutz suddenly spoke in a deep voice. "It seems you've received quite a blow. You probably thought that after becoming my wife, you would enjoy endless glory and wealth, but you didn't know that the husband you chose is actually a figure despised by everyone in the palace. It's too late to regret it now. After all, you're already my wife." Heinle gradually hugged him tighter. "Your Highness, I have never regretted becoming your wife. From the first time I saw you until now, I haven't regretted it for a single moment." Lutz's body suddenly stiffened. The tips of his ears quietly turned pink. He had thought she would be utterly disappointed with her current situation, but he didn't expect her to say she had never regretted it. "Then I will fulfill your wish and let you conceive a child as soon as possible. Although I wish I could go to your bedroom tonight, because of that guy Cairo, we'll have to wait until you've recovered." Heinle was about to argue that her injuries weren't serious, but he interrupted her softly. "I won't lay a finger on you until you've fully recovered. Focus on healing first. Got it?" Heinle raised a radiant smile, her eyes full of light. "Okay, Your Highness, I definitely will." Back in her chambers, after the maid finished bandaging her wounds, Heinle sat alone in contemplation. A knock suddenly sounded on the door. Lutz pushed the door open and entered. He had come out of worry. Learning that her injuries had been treated, he was about to leave when Heinle stopped him. "Your Highness, I heard from the third prince today that His Highness the Crown Prince's physical condition is very poor." Seeing Lutz nod, she pondered to herself. If they're always in conflict, it's hard to guarantee they won't clash without her knowing. To prevent trouble before it starts, she had to make His Highness Lutz wary of the third prince. "Your Highness, if after the Crown Prince passes away, you are framed as the murderer, what would you do?" Lutz's face darkened. "What do you mean by that?" A man who has finally seen the light is off the charts sweet. With gorgeous clothes, diamond jewelry, and a personal diamond-studded mount, coupled with that cloyingly doting smile, he's about to charm the soul right out of his beloved wife. Previously, Heinle, in order to remind Lutz to be wary of the third prince, had asked what he would do if he were framed as the murderer after the crown prince's death. Lutz's face had instantly darkened. "That's not something you should worry about." He then turned and left. On his way, he thought that Heinle's words were not without reason. That guy was definitely capable of it. He immediately summoned Evan. He ordered him to keep a close watch on everyone entering and leaving the crown prince's palace, not even letting a mouse slip by. Cairo might make a move on the crown prince. Evan asked in surprise if they should stop him. Let's let out a cold laugh. "Why stop him? If Cairo kills the crown prince, wouldn't that be a perfect chance to get rid of both of them at once? I just need to watch coldly from the sidelines and secure the evidence. After Evan left, he stared at the drizzling rain outside the window. He then quietly went to Heinle's chambers, gazing tenderly at her sleeping form, his fingertips gently touching her. Suddenly, his smile faded. What if I lose to Cairo and lose my life? No, no one can touch what's mine. I will never let anyone have her. A few days later, at the stables, Lutz, as if he'd had a sudden epiphany, was teaching Heinle horsemanship with extra intimacy, leaving her completely bewildered. What's wrong with His Highness? Is he deliberately putting on a show for others? She wanted to tell him he didn't have to be this way, but Lutz was staring at her, mesmerized. Even the horse couldn't stand it and fidgeted a couple of times. It scared him into frantically comforting her. The sight of it couldn't help but make Heinle laugh out loud. Lutz's ears turned red from being laughed at. How dare you laugh? Heinle's eyes held a hint of a smile. But this is the first time I've seen you so flustered. Lutz's cheeks grew even hotter, dazzled by her brilliant smile. Has her smile always been this beautiful? He suddenly pulled her closer. His scorching gaze made Heinle's heart pound like a drum. She stiffly turned her head. And no, people are watching. Lutz glanced around. He leaned over and lifted her off the horse. Then let's go somewhere with no people. Not far away. Evan, who was forced to watch their public display of affection, complained speechlessly. What kind of training is this? As soon as they returned to their chambers, Lutz couldn't wait to be affectionate with Heinle. He whispered with a smile, "You're that eager to have a child soon." "Yes, I want to conceive your child quickly." "Good. If I die, I'll need an heir. So hurry up and conceive my child." After a bout of passion, Heinle asked softly, "Why did you just speak as if you were going to die?" Lutz gently stroked her hair. "Don't worry, I won't leave you here and go alone." Heinle's eyes were misty. "If the crown prince passes away, and you in the struggle for the throne, you'll become the emperor of Trikas, right?" Lutz paused. "You must never say that outside. If someone hears it, before a new crown prince is even appointed, you could be charged with treason." Heinle nodded. "I know," she said softly. Then she fell into a deep sleep. Lutz gazed at her sleeping face and thought to himself, "Emperor, if I become the emperor, Heinle would be the empress, and our child would be the crown prince. Me, who has always fought on battlefields just to survive. That could I become the emperor? Ever since I met her, it's been one surprise after another. Kneeling in the middle of the night to propose marriage, saving herself after being kidnapped. Every image of her was already engraved in his heart. I, Heinle Pollock, am willing to become anyone you want me to be. For those words, even becoming the emperor. A few days later, Heinle returned from riding. She was informed by Evan that Lutz had summoned her urgently. Her heart sank slightly. So urgent. Could he be in trouble? Just as she stepped through the door, Lutz ordered Evan to present a box. The moment the box was opened, Dea was so shocked her jaw dropped. Heinle couldn't help but admire it. Inside the box was an exquisite silver fox fur cloak. Lutz took the cloak. "This is specially for you, so don't even think about returning it. It suits you very well." Heinle was about to apologize for her mistake at the last banquet, but Lutz raised a hand to stop her. Next, she turned her head in confusion and saw a rows of maids coming forward, holding gift boxes. There were magnificent gowns tailored to her size, as well as countless diamond jewels. Heinle was so shocked she was speechless. These were all treasures she had only heard of but never seen. "If you don't like them, just say so. I'll have new ones prepared." He smiled like a spring breeze. "You're wearing the cloak. Perfect. Come outside with me. There's something even more special out there." The moment she stepped outside, Heinle gasped and covered her mouth. This. A gentle, fine horse adorned with pink diamonds stood before them. It was an exclusive mount Lutz had specially chosen for her. He invited her to try riding it. Seeing her hesitate, Lutz swept her up and placed her on the horse's back. Heinle hurriedly thanked him. Lutz's gaze was as gentle as water. "How is it? Do you feel uncomfortable anywhere? Shall we go for a ride nearby?" Such sweet affection made Heinle's cheeks feel like they were about to explode. She stammered, "And maybe next time. I'm not used to riding in a dress." Seeing her unusual blush, Lutz couldn't help but worry. "Are you not feeling well?" Heinle, shy and flustered, said, "Maybe. It's just too hot wearing the cloak." Then let's go back quickly. As Lutz spoke, he gently lifted her off the horse. Haniel was grateful, but felt she didn't deserve it. Lutz held her tightly. You're the prince's consort. This is what you deserve. Since you want me to become emperor, when you become empress, I'll have you receive even more precious gifts than these every day. I'll make you the most magnificent and noble person in this country. After speaking, he slowly leaned down and planted a kiss full of admiration. Their two hearts drew ever closer. Today, Haniel not only received Lutz's gifts and sincerity, but also letters from her mother and Mai, who were far away in Seoul. Tears streamed down her face as she read of her mother's longing for her. She only stopped after being comforted by her maid. Wiping away her tears, she opened Mai's letter. To Her Highness, the prince's consort in Tricus. I was overjoyed to receive your letter. Count Phil and I are doing well. Although we haven't been together long, he is very considerate towards me. The Count has been busy recently due to the discovery of a new mineral. He was also seriously injured, but he despises anyone mentioning it, so no one knows the reason. Haniel thought happily, it seems she's doing well too. I hope she doesn't go through the same things I did. Meanwhile, the third prince, Cairo, was meeting with a mysterious person. What were they plotting now? Haniel liked to discuss matters with her husband whenever something came up, but him? At the slightest disagreement, he would just pounce on her for kisses. He would tease her until her face was beet red, leaving her completely unable to resist. Haniel discussed with Dea about replying to Mai, planning to send some fine wines and fabrics produced in Tricus. She wanted to ask for Lutz's opinion and also inform him about Chert's mine. Unexpectedly, no one was in the study. She went to the bedroom, but there was no response for a long time. An attendant awkwardly made excuses for Lutz. Just as she was about to leave, a voice from inside said, "Come in." After entering, she looked at the bedroom, which was as dim as the study, completely puzzled. Only in a dim environment can I feel at ease. Haniel looked up in surprise. She saw Lutz with a playful look on his face, like a snake preferring a damp place. But you probably can't understand that, can you? No, I've had similar thoughts. Back in Seoul, the magnificent and bright Queen's Palace felt completely out of place for me. It made me uncomfortable even just standing at the doorway. At that time, I felt like a frog in a dark swamp. To survive, I had to go home, as expected of husband and wife. It seems unless we can change our origins, neither of us can escape the swamp. Why don't we just hide in the shadows of the bedroom? Haniel's cheeks instantly flushed with shyness, her voice as faint as a gnat's buzz. But it's daytime. Lutz's warm breath brushed past her ear. In here, you can't tell if it's day or night. As soon as the words fell, he planted a fiery kiss on her. His unique steadiness and gentleness deepened between their lips. A moment later, he slowly pulled away, his eyes somewhat hazy as he asked her purpose for coming. Hearing that it was about sending gifts, he said he would make a list for her reference. Haniel smiled, her eyes curving, and thanked him repeatedly. Let's suddenly change the subject. By the way, has Cairo been approaching you recently? That guy seems to be plotting something. You be careful. This made her suddenly remember that around this time in her past life, Cairo had launched a rebellion before the crown prince's death. Let's notice her strange expression. What's wrong? Did that guy really come looking for trouble again? If he dares to get close to you, tell me. No one is allowed to touch what's mine. Such blunt and unadorned words filled Haniel's heart with warmth and a sense of security. Your Highness, I received a letter from Seoul. It mentioned that Chert seems to have discovered a new mineral in his mine. I don't know if this is related to the third prince's conspiracy. She thought to herself, this explanation shouldn't be strange, right? She had heard this news in her past life as well. Although she didn't know what the mineral was, it was later rumored that a Tricus prince had nearly lost his life, which meant this substance was extraordinary. Let's didn't doubt her at all. It seems we'll have to investigate what kind of mineral is first. Haniel was overjoyed, thinking this is great. If he decides to do business with that mineral, he'll probably do it in Baisa. Baisa? The canal city that Seoul gave as compensation? Watching that place might dig up some clues. I'll have Evan handle it immediately. Seeing that the matter was successfully communicated, Haniel curtsied and turned to leave. Lutz watched her departing figure and thought to himself, I thought she lived in the palace, naive to the ways of the world, but she actually knows quite a lot. The merchant guild trade in Baisa is indeed very active. Then I'll listen to her and turn Baisa upside down. As soon as she returned to her chambers, she received a notice to attend the Empress's afternoon tea party next week. Haniel was immediately troubled. She hadn't attended many such occasions in Seoul. Besides, it seemed none of them liked her. But she was the prince's consort of Tricas. She couldn't keep cowering and lose face for his highness. She immediately instructed Dea to inquire about the preferences of the empress and the other prince's consorts. The next day, Dea returned with the information. The crown prince's consort loved to read. The third prince's consort was obsessed with gems, and most surprisingly, the empress was quite interested in martial arts. Haniel pondered for a long time and decided to ask Lutz for help. But Lutz dotingly said it didn't matter how much money she spent. Go with the highest standard. Just tell the head maid what you want. On the day of the tea party, the carefully prepared gifts arrived as scheduled. Just as Haniel finished getting ready, Lutz walked over and handed her an exquisite brocade box. She opened it and saw an extremely rare Tophyte ring inside, shimmering with brilliant colors. Doesn't the third prince's consort love gems? This will make her plenty jealous. After she's had her fill of envy, you can then bestow the gift you prepared upon her. He said it with a sly look, but his tone was gentle. Your hands are very fair. They make this Tophyte look even more dazzling. It's truly beautiful. This teasing made Haniel's cheeks instantly burn red. She stammered, I should get going now. Saying this, she lifted her skirt and left as if fleeing. The palace courtyard scenery was beautiful. It made Haniel unable to resist looking around, but she was reminded by the person beside her. A prince's consort must look forward when walking. When she arrived, the empress and the other consorts were already waiting for Haniel. After paying her respects according to etiquette, she had just sat down. Then when she heard the empress speak, are there any problems between you and the second prince? Haniel was suddenly stunned. No, His Highness the Prince treats me very well. But the empress's gaze was forceful. But why don't the two of you have a child yet? Indeed, no woman can resist a gift that captures her heart. Even the ruthless empress softened in an instant. Before this, the empress's probing continued. I heard the two of you share a room every day. So why is there no child yet? Haniel's expression darkened. Although she saw His Highness every day, they didn't share a bed every time. Even if she had Lutz's heir, it would be an obstacle for the empress. She probably brought it up just to cause trouble. She subconsciously touched her lower abdomen. In her heart, she also hoped to conceive soon. Second prince's consort. A call pulled Haniel back from her thoughts. She quickly responded, you should have your body checked for any problems. Without waiting for her response, the empress turned to the crown prince's consort. Are you taking good care of the crown prince? I hear his health is getting worse. The sudden question made the crown prince's consort tense up instantly. She quickly lowered her eyes and bowed in apology. This oppressive atmosphere made Haniel feel restless. After pondering for a moment, she looked up and smiled. Your Majesty the Empress, I have prepared some humble gifts for the three of you. With that, she waved at her maid. This is my first gathering with the three of you, so I prepared gifts. The third prince's consort laughed. What kind of gifts could they be? Just some traditional souvenirs from Seoul, I suppose. Oh my, it couldn't be one of those revealing dresses, could it? They're not suitable for public occasions. Don't worry, it's not a dress, Haniel replied calmly. I heard that Your Majesty the Empress is quite accomplished in martial arts. This is a ceremonial sword specially crafted by Tricas' top artisan. The moment the Empress opened the gift box, her eyes were filled with shock. This is a sword by Hanston Marcel. His smelting technique is second to none. You must have gone to a lot of trouble, seeing the soft expression that spread across the Empress's face. Haniel was secretly pleased. Preparing a sword was indeed a wise choice. Next is the gift for the Crown Prince's consort. I heard you love to read. This is a work by the humanities master, Leo Timir. And when the third prince's consort received her gift box, but the moment she opened it, her eyes lit up. Her voice trembled with excitement. It's a Tophyte necklace. Is this really for me? Her happiness didn't last 2 seconds. She glanced at the ring on Haniel's hand. But this necklace, compared to the ring you're wearing. Third prince's consort. Mind your decorum, the Empress interrupted coldly. She silently chided her. So impatient. Too childish. However, it seems Lutz truly dotes on her, and her taste in gifts is also quite good. She repeatedly makes one see her in a new light. I'll have to pay more attention to her from now on. Seeing the Empress's attitude soften, Haniel's heart stirred. At this rate, she would be able to establish a firm footing here. But the most important thing was to get closer to the Crown Prince's consort and inquire about the Crown Prince's condition. I hope to be able to meet with you all often in the future. The Empress showed a rare smile. Good. I will arrange gatherings often. After that, Haniel and the Crown Prince's consort began to interact more frequently, becoming book friends who could talk heart to heart. But Lutz was worried and reminded her, it's best to be careful in all things. After all, the crown prince, just like Cairo, is my political enemy. Heinil quickly agreed. I'll be careful, but the crown prince's consort is a very nice person. She even tells me news about the crown prince from time to time. Lutz paused at her words. News? Yes. I heard the crown prince's condition has worsened drastically recently. If the crown prince passes away, the third prince will definitely make a move. Of course. After all, this is his chance to seize the position of crown prince. But, Heinil, why are you so wary of Cairo? Even if someone should be wary, it should be me, a prince of Trikas. Yet you always want to grasp the whole situation. After a man regards his beloved wife as his exclusive treasure, that he becomes completely loyal to her, cherishing and protecting her. He no longer fights alone, having his beloved wife to share his worries and solve his problems. He even has the empire's youngest and most handsome chancellor as his aide. Previously, Lutz had been suspicious of Heinil's excessive attention to his political enemy's movements. But when he heard her nervous explanation that she was just worried about him, he instantly suppressed his doubts, even blaming himself for not being strong enough to protect her. Heinil hesitated, wanting to speak. She softly called, Your Highness. But Lutz interrupted with a smile. You don't have to worry so much. I'm also keeping an eye on their movements. You're always worrying. Doesn't that make me seem unreliable? Don't worry. I will always be by your side. But the shadow of her past life still haunted Heinil. She was afraid of Chert Phil. When alone, she always worried he would break in again. She would wake up from nightmares, too anxious to fall back asleep. Heinil, one of my men reported today that they've discovered minerals being sold secretly in Baisa. Is this related to Count Phil? It's not certain yet. Although we could arrest them, we need to find out the channels first, so we haven't alerted them. So, have you found out what kind of mineral they're trading? I heard it's some kind of explosive mineral. The level of danger is still unclear. Heinil's face changed drastically. No wonder Chert was so happy then. If it's an explosive mineral, it could probably be used to make weapons, right? That's right, but its power is unknown. If Count Phil and Cairo join forces, it shouldn't be difficult to make weapons from the mineral. They could also use that mineral to raise funds. For me, either situation would pose a threat. So you must take action. Lutz agreed. Heinil was secretly pleased. He had taken her advice, but she still felt uneasy. Did Chert team up with the third prince in my past life too? That makes sense. On his own, the third prince would probably have a hard time defeating His Highness Lutz. Then we must handle this properly this time. You're making that face again. Don't worry. I'll make a move before Cairo does. Only then did Heinil's tense expression relax, a soft smile gracing her lips. All right, Your Highness. After Heinil left, Lutz drank alone, her figure appearing in his mind. He sighed to himself, it's truly amazing. In the past, he would have been drinking and worrying by himself, crushed by pressure, unable to breathe. But now, he felt no anxiety at all. He never trusted anyone, yet he found himself wanting to trust Heinil. A few days later at the training grounds, the Empire's youngest and most handsome chancellor, Hakel Lake, suddenly appeared. Lutz couldn't help but retort, why would someone who stays cooped up in the palace like a flower come to a dangerous place like this? Hakel smugly handed over the Emperor's edict for a military inspection. Lutz opened the edict. The other man had a cheeky grin on his face and showed no intention of leaving. Spit it out. What are you really here for? Want to make a deal with me? Lutz stared at him for a few seconds, then led him to a secluded corner. Hakel stopped beating around the bush and directly dropped the news. On the pretext of recuperating, the third prince has been frequently visiting Loxent, that cold and quiet place. Lutz's expression turned grim. Why are you telling me this? If we're making a deal, then you must have a demand from me as well. My demand is actually very simple. I hope you can bring peace and prosperity to Trikas. Hakel slowly leaned closer. Let me tell you a secret. I believe you will become the emperor of this country in the future.